Good evening.
Good evening.
Please pray with me. Creator God, be with us now. Open our hearts and our minds. Lead me, God, in what to say. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I sometimes tell you about the problems that I had in writing my sermon, so I thought I'd do the same today. My computer has no word processing program on it, so I use another program in which to write. By the time I'd finished this afternoon, it had saved the document 8 different times with different titles, each one being slightly different. It had shut on me several times, not the program completely, just completely delete everything that I'd written so far. However, I had these obvious backups that I could go to, but I had to work out where I'd made changes and everything. And then I tried to print it. In the end, Wendy came to my rescue, and she got it printed. So, as I go through this, I don't think I've got any mistakes in what I've written. However, give me a little bit of a latitude, I think, maybe. So, the reading tonight. I didn't have any denarii at home, so I had to bring other coins in, but I hope you've all got your coin that I gave you earlier. If you haven't got one, Simon's got some extras at the back there, and I'll get you to get that out in a little while and have a good look at it. Who was on the coin that Jesus was looking at, though? It was the emperor. It was the
Caesar.
emperor. Yeah. And what did that mean? And what did Jesus mean when he said, pay to the emperor what is the emperor's? You see, I don't think it was just about taxes. I don't think it was just about money. I think Jesus was talking about the laws and the rules and the traditions that the Romans imposed on the Jewish people. I think Jesus was saying, you need to respect them. You need to respect the emperor. He is in power. He was looking at a bigger picture, I think, than just that one coin. And I don't think that Jesus thought that all of the laws were right or correct. I'm sure he thought that some of them were wrong. But he wasn't about to give anyone that was trying to trick him at the time leverage over him with that. I think he was saying, you have to respect the emperor because of who he is. Maybe not how he got there, maybe not what he does with his power, but to keep yourself safe. Now, who's on our coin? Everyone take their coin out.
Betty.
Okay, everyone got their coin. Who's on the head sign of our side of our coin?
Queen.
The Queen, yep. Queen Elizabeth II, our reigning monarch. And for us, it's Her Majesty's government who makes the laws in this country. Now, I do think that Jesus was saying many, many years ago to us right now, yes, you should pay your taxes. Yes, you should pay your bills. Yes, you should pay that you owe. If someone has done a task for you and you've agreed a payment, you owe them that money. We live in this country and we pay our taxes. Our taxes go towards our schools. They go towards our NHS system. They go towards our counties, county courts, looking after the roads, making new buildings, putting housing available. We pay our taxes for a reason. Back in Jesus' time, they didn't. They paid to the coffers of the emperor. There was some things that the emperor did. There were some roads built, and there were soldiers there to keep law and order, but not wanted by the Jews. However, not much of the money went towards that. Most of the money just went to the emperor for whatever he decided to do with it. Now, I think that we have to respect our government. Respect our Queen, respect our government. We're lucky. We live in a democracy. Jesus didn't. I think that we should respect our leaders. Although 1 year ago, our last election, I'm not quite sure that democracy really worked very well then, but that's my personal opinion. We get the chance every 5 years to change our leadership. I'm also quite pleased that I don't live in America right now. They're having real problems with their system, but it is democratic. It is a democratic system. What happens when we come across laws that we think are wrong, though? What do we need to do? What can we do? We can go out there and deliberately break them to try and bring attention to it. Myself personally, I don't think that's usually the best way to go about it. I believe we should, again, my beliefs, I believe that we should always follow the law of the land unless it is in direct contravention of what we believe God would have us do. In the book of Daniel, in chapter 6, there's a story there of how King Darius made a law that for 30 days no one under his rulership was allowed to pray to any other god or any other person other than himself. Daniel disobeyed that rule, that law, and I think Daniel was right in that. Daniel went into his room 3 times a day and he prayed to God. And that was the reason he got sent to the lion's den, because he directly disobeyed that law. I think there are times that we are called to do things like that. But for the most part, we as Christians, I believe, have an obligation to try and change wrong laws, but in a peaceful, non-threatening way. We have letters, we have emails, we have phones. We can call the people, we can write to the people who can make changes. And I don't think that's just looking at our own country. We can do that for other countries. We can call the diplomats, we can write email to the diplomats. The most wrong ruling I have heard recently was in France. There were pictures in The Guardian this week, and then on most television news programmes afterwards, of a lady on a beach wearing what's called a burkini. It has long trousers, has long arms. It's black, it has a skirt. It looks pretty much like a wetsuit, but it has a bit of a skirt. And armed police came onto the beach. It was packed out beach. And there were 4 officers that I know that were there. I've heard there were more, but I haven't seen that. And they surrounded this woman, armed police officers, and then forced her to remove more clothing than she was comfortable in doing so in public. Now, I always overdress for the beach. I cannot remember the last time I was on a beach and I didn't have long jeans on and a t-shirt at least. Usually I'll have a jumper or a long sleeve t-shirt or something like that with me. That for me isn't a decency issue. It's because I feel the cold really easily. And when I feel the cold, my pain levels go up. So I'm doing that to protect myself. However, she was doing that to protect her decency. If I had police come up to me, if I had armed police come up to me in a public place and make me remove more clothing than I was comfortable with doing, I would call that abuse. I would call that assault. It's certainly bullying. So we need to write. We need to write letters. We need to sign petitions. We need to do things about the rules and the laws that we feel are wrong. We need to be careful though. There is a real difference between the rules that are wrong and the rules and laws that we don't like. I remember when I lived in Canada, all the residential areas, the speed limit was 40 kilometres an hour. That's about 25 miles per hour. And I thought that was a brilliant idea. Can't tell you how annoying it is in Brighton now to have to drive around at 20 miles an hour. I hate it. But it is not a wrong law. It is not a wrong law. And what do we need to give to God? We've given to our emperor. What do we give to God? Well, what is God's? Maybe a better question is, what isn't God's? When I was thinking about it, I couldn't think of anything which isn't God's. I could think of things I'd prefer not to be God's, my money, my time, my decision making. But actually, they are God's, whether I give them to God or not. They are God's. And what do we need to do about that? With our money, with our time, with our decision making, with our homes, with our hands and feet. Every time we end a service in this church, we say we are the hands and feet of Christ. And we are. I'd urge you to take your coin and have a look at it. Is it yours? Is it the Queen's? Is it the government's? Or is it God's? No, it's not mine. I gave them away. Quite willingly. And with Wendy's permission. No, they're yours. But for me, what's mine is God's. As the collection basket goes around in the song that we're just about to sing. Maybe put that coin in and think, that is God's, I'm giving it to God. Maybe keep it and keep it as a reminder that that is God's. Maybe put it towards a coffee at Starbucks later, although I prefer Costa. do what you want with that coin. It's yours to do with as you want. But maybe try and use it as a reminder.